How exactly does Trans-Siberian Orchestra bring metalheads together and also your normal Christmas music listeners together? We're going to find that out today on this album review.
Everybody, Gordon Titsworth here from Images of Eden, and you are watching the Crash Course YouTube channel with our local homegrown press guy, Trevor Crash Knight, here in York, PA.
So today we are going to be talking about one of the best, in my opinion, and best-selling Christmas albums that has ever been in the history of music, and that is going to be Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Christmas Eve and Other Stories. So Christmas Eve and Other Stories came out in 1996. So this is basically a new project, if you will, from the band, the heavy metal band Sabotage. If anyone's aware of Sabotage, two members, John Oliva and Al, came over from Sabotage to do this project, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And now John is well, there were two brothers in Sabotage, Chris and John, and sadly, Chris passed away earlier in the decade. And Sabotage still went on to do a couple albums afterward, and with different guitar players and such like that. But eventually, John ended up going and doing an Al, going up doing another project called TSO. So I am familiar with this album for years. I obviously remember being born in 1992. I do remember, like Christmas Eve always being played on the radio and such like that. Christmas Eve is like one of the best-selling Christmas singles there ever was, especially since the new, 1991, they kind of redid like of the modern ranking, or not rankings, but like sales and streams and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so Christmas Eve and Other Stories did reach number 48 on the top 200 Billboard charts. Now, the peak year was 2012, which is very interesting. Like, I don't know exactly what made that very special that year. Maybe some commercials, because I do remember Christmas Eve being on the song, being on some like car commercials and stuff like that. But it did go 3 times platinum in the US, and that is very hard to do for a metal band in the 90s, especially one with great guitar tone, great guitar solos, stuff like that. Because as we all know, grunge was kind of waning out at that time, and a lot of different stuff was coming in. Death metal was pretty big at the time, and just industrial and stuff like that as well. So, but now this is where we kind of ask ourselves, what really brings metalheads and like your normie music slash Christmas music listener to really enjoy this album and make it sell so well, and it's so compatible to everybody. Once we go through the track listings, we will kind of like talk a little bit what I think some of the magic is to that. But I think half of it, a good amount of it, is just the variety in here. Sure, the guitars are very heavy metal like, but it's not overpowering to someone that's not a metalhead, and there's enough there for metalheads to really appreciate it. But I really like variety as far as like in my music and stuff, like, because I'm a big fan of blues, big fan of funk, just stuff like that. And like, I do enjoy Christmas time as well. With it being only a week away here, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a review of this album and really dig deep into kind of see what everyone else kind of thinks as far as like, is this overrated, underrated? I guess you can't really say underrated, but like, is it really this popular to a lot of people? And apparently, like, seeing these numbers and such, how well it did when it came out and all the way up until today, I don't think that is necessarily a fluke. So this is in a trilogy, actually, of albums. And Trans-Siberian Orchestra does have plenty of albums. It's not just these three, this trilogy. So you had the Christmas Attic coming out in 1998. And then you did have Beethoven's, Last Night, but that's not a part of this trilogy, but that did come out third. And then for the end of the Christmas trilogy, you did have the Lost Christmas Eve, which is an okay album. I don't like it as much as the debut here, but maybe next year we will talk about either the Christmas Attic or the Lost Christmas Eve. So, but we can jump in here. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Sabotage. So, and I was actually kind of surprised that John doesn't do no vocals here on this album. He's not at least credited with any that I seen anyway. Uh, but I do like the amount of different singers that they do bring in. I also love the backing vocals, the child vocals, and I think it really brings different elements into this album. Innocence as well, and just like the just what Christmas is kind of really about, and you feel that in this album. They captured it really well. So you have here An Angel Came Down starting off the album. And right from the start, you kind of realize like the full sound that you're going to be getting with this album. Guitars end up coming in full. It's just one of these songs, like when I first put it on, it's like, wow. It eventually, like the song eventually, once it starts to get rolling, it does warm up your soul a little bit, especially on a cold day. Like I said, like I don't really visit this album too much throughout the year because like I think I did one year like start listening to it even before Thanksgiving, so like in November sometime. And it just wasn't the same. It was a little bit too long. I don't need 2 months of this album. Not saying that it's not great and it can be played. I know people that play it throughout the year. But for me, the charm of it really enhances the album around Christmas time. So, because like I'm so tired, like even like the family, there I always throw whenever I get a chance, I throw on the living room TV this album, on YouTube or whatever, and just let that play and just walk away. But Angel Came Down, I really dig that song. Then you got a couple, you got an instrumental. So you do have like 6 or more instrumentals here on this album. And we could talk a little bit about that, which I am a fan of instrumentals in general in metal and heavy metal and music in general. But I think some of the placements of these instrumentals kind of hurt the flow when you're listening to the whole, 15 track album here, which is another commandment in the Crash Course Metal Show. Commandments is that it's hard to have a really classic, great album with more than 11, 12 songs. So this is certainly pushing it, but I think I give it a pass here because it does have that charm to it. You don't listen to it all the time like you would a normal album, like throughout the year and such, for me anyway. But it's just a great story. There is a story to it. So it's basically like some guy loses faith in Christmas and such, and spoiler alert, by the end he finds his faith in Christmas again and such like that. And all these songs are stories of this guy going through his journey of point A to point B. And so inside of this, since I have it out here, it does give you the story here in the book, in the inserts. So this is actually pretty nice how they package this. This is the Target. This is the Target vinyl. So it is the red, and it has a story here and such like that that you can that you read along while you're while you're listening to the album. And then you have all the lyrics and inserts and such like that as well. Picture of the music video there. And they did have one single, which is Christmas Eve, the song. So, and then all the credits and all that and such. But yeah, put together really nicely as well. Pretty nice. And then since this is the Target exclusive, we do have the red vinyl here. Very nice. It's very Christmassy red, if you will. Yeah, it's not like a bold red. It has like that pearl glossiness to it, like a Christmas ornament or and such, or a Christmas light. So the packaging was really done from the reissue here, and I believe the reissue was from 2021. So yeah, I like it a lot here. So moving back here to the album, obviously we have Star to Follow. Uh, so Holy Night was the second track, and that was the instrumental. Nothing. I mean, I like it a lot. The standout guitars in this is, obviously what you would expect coming from Sabotage. Members from Sabotage, and just their great tone in that band and what they brought over to this project of TSO. And then now for the third track, you got A Star to Follow. I love the chant here, very melodic and very heavy metal-esque. You could tell, like, it's very heavy metal in nature with that chant. I just feel that when I listen to that, I say, okay, this is Sabotage rootsy kind of, or heavy metal rootsy. There's not too much music though to this track, I guess, up until maybe the end, but the vocals, the chanting vocals and such more than carry the song. It's awesome. I just like the atmosphere of the song here. And then you got First Snow, another instrumental as the fourth track. It's okay. Nothing crazy. I mean, nothing really to talk too much about. It's fine. Like I said, every song gets played here. Nothing gets skipped on the iPod or like when I'm listening to it on the turntable. Everything gets played, but obviously there are some more favorites that I enjoy. This one I don't really remember too much. So we're moving on here to track number 5, The Silent Nutcracker. It's a cool, shorter acoustic, less than 2 minutes, I think, or around 2 minutes long. But I like it. Pretty cool acoustics. And then you move on here to track number 6, Russian Winter. This is another one that a lot of people, I think, know. Like, as the second most famous song, I think this might be the song that what people would know other than Christmas Eve. And it's very cool, has very quick beat, a quick tempo, slower down tempo, really cool stuff. And then like, so John Oliva, he does do the piano, he does some bass, I think, and he does some other things, but he just doesn't sing like what we are used to. He does no vocals that I seen that he is credited to, but obviously helps writing the music and such like that. So, and you can tell if you're a Sabotage fan, it's more than obvious here, especially coming off of the Sabotage album that they did in 1995 before this, just a year before this, and that is going to be Dead Winter Dead. So if you guys strongly like the TSO Christmas Eve, check out 1995's Sabotage Dead Winter Dead. This does have Christmas Eve, the song 1224 on it, and it is just, you know, the beginning stages of what you will eventually hear on this album just a year later. This here is just probably a little bit more cleaner, this version. But I like both versions actually. One's a little bit maybe more heavy metal, than obviously, than say the TSA version. More so from, I would say, mainstream type sound. Uh, but yeah, Mad Russian's Christmas, cool. Nice different tempos there in that song. Prince of Peace, I like that a lot. It's a beautiful, well sung song. Female vocalist here on that one. And so you're moving here to track number 8 is Christmas Eve, obviously, which we did talk a good amount already in this video about this song. But everyone knows it, bled to death a little bit. But man, when it comes on, when you're out and about, it is a Christmas song, just heavy metal flavored, heavy metal guitar tone. It's really good stuff. Now you're moving on here to track number 9, Good King Joy. Another one that is a couple minute, there's like a couple minute intro to it, a pretty good song. There is a trace of bluesiness in this song, which I really dig because I'm a big blues guy, blues metal guy. And I that is one thing that I do remember from this song is that it does have little traces of it, little licks in there that kind of give you, hey, that there's that bluesiness to it. And very cool. I like that. I like that add in.
Now it was long ago when it all began, back in Bethlehem, in the promised land. A single star appeared in the sky, and 3 kings saw, and the east as wide, east as wide, and they checked.
It's just more variety, and that's, I think, one of the charms of this album is that there is variety in here. So you, like I said, you get your normie music lover, and then you get your Christmas lover, and then you get your metalhead, and it all works together. Really, there's a really good balance here. So then going on here to track number 9, or sorry, track number 10. You got Ornament, slower pace song here. It's okay. Nothing that I would recommend first for someone to listen to off of this album. And then you move on here to another instrumental, The First Noel. It's fine. Like I said, it's a quick. I think it's like less than a minute long. It's all right, but it just jumps you. It just gets you ready to get into the next track, which is track number 12, Old City Bar. I like the story to it. A very giving kind of story. A bartender gives this stranger, basically, or a customer, some of his tip money so that they can get home on Christmas Eve, and just doing nice things. And then he becomes nice to everyone, with paying for drinks and stuff throughout the whole night. Then, and pretty cool. It feels. I think it's like a 6.5 minute song, but it feels longer than 6.5 minutes in a good way, though. Because I know, halfway through, I'm through the song, I'm like, damn, this kind of feels like it's been on for a while. But I'm it puts me in a trance. It gets me thinking with the lyrics and stuff, Christmas time stuff, being generous, being giving, and everything like that. And I like that. I like the song. It's one of the most, I don't know, because all these songs are pretty unique in and of themselves, but a very unique, cool song that fits the album perfectly, I think. And then you got here track number 13, Promises to Keep. This is one where it's all child, all kid choir, and it obviously, with that in mind, it does have an innocence feel to the song, and I like it. It's a good song. Then track number 14, This Christmas Day. It starts a little slower as well, the first minute or so. Then it starts picking up, and it gets into a cool, groovy, fun song. A guy says, hey, I got my Christmas tree, I got my ornaments, and then she's coming home this Christmas Eve. Everything's going right for him now. It's really cool. It's a nice, upbeat song to almost close out the album, because we do have one more song.
Is now as it should be. I had the ornament, I had the perfect tree, I had my string of lights, I had a chance to see everything that my heart thought could be. For all the dreams you ever first
we will jump in here to An Angel Return. Now, off of the original album, this is the final to close out the album, but they do in this reissue and such like that, they do have two other songs that are like basically bonus tracks. So we won't really talk about them too much. But you close out here with Angel Return. Absolutely love you. Bring it. It kind of brings you back to the opening track a little bit. It has that same feel to it, and it's a great closing song, especially with the backing vocals. You got like fire going, you got all kinds, the emotion of what you just went through throughout the album, and you're like, yes, we're here. Bring peace upon nations. Like it just you feel Christmas through, or what Christmas should be anyway. On a personal level with your friends, your family, and stuff like that. It, the song really sums up the album basically, and very good, very good. It is one of my favorite albums for Christmas. I put it on every year. I try to leave it on for the whole month. Like almost every day I listen to it in December, especially if it's really cold out. I really like it then. 'Cause obviously we're more up north here in the States, and December is certainly a colder month here, and sometimes we get snow, but not too much. But man, this album gets played every year for me. Awesome. Good stuff. I strongly suggest you guys check it out. And also, if you're more on the metal side, you do like the guitar work and stuff here, go check out Savage's Dead Winter Dead. I think you get a little bit more. This is a really cold. You'll feel colder listening to it. As far as like Dead Winter Dead, like there's songs on here like I said with the opening track for Trans-Siberian, it just brings warmth to your soul. This kind of like it has that atmosphere of being cold, and it's really good. I like it. I like that a lot for what it is, but not necessarily a Christmas album like obviously this is. But yeah, just with the front cover too is pretty cool. Obviously you have this kid looking at the lights here, and the kid does not have any shoes on in the snow, and I would probably be dead after a couple minutes. That would hurt like hell. Having no clothing on your feet. No, we're not doing that. I'm sorry.
Lick my frozen metal ass. Ah!
I can look at the Christmas tree from afar, or go pick up some boots or something, and then I'll go look at the tree. But yeah, but I give him credit. Give him credit for his faith and just wanting to have the Christmas spirit to go look at the Christmas tree here with the lights and everything. But amazing album, guys. I strong, especially if you like the solos and like what we talk about in a Crash Course Metal show here. Obviously we talk about metal, but this is like the closest thing that you're gonna get to a real Christmas metal. I mean, sure, like other, like the Monster Ballads, they did a Christmas like compilation with all like the 80s, a lot of 80s bands doing Christmas songs. That's cool for what it is, but it's not, to me, like I don't ever play that. It doesn't remind me of Christmas really or anything like that. This is where it's at. If you're the metalhead and you want like Christmas, something to play, even with people that are not in heavy metal, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to play. And very good. You will not be disappointed. Which actually I did just buy Christmas Attic, which I did not have that because I have a couple other TSO albums in my collection here. Like I said, The Lost Christmas Eve, I do have that, but I did not have Christmas Attic. So I am going to be visiting that all this week. And I think we'll do that next year. We'll do that or Lost Christmas next year as a review. But so that'll give me some time to really sit with that for the rest of December here up until Christmas. And we will jump into that then next year, guys. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of TSO in general, and also their debut album here. And for you Sabotage fans, can you really pick out that like this is Sabotage? Like I want to know some of the little hints that TSO gives us that is very Sabotage like because I hear it, but I want to see what you guys uh have for me because obviously someone's gonna come up and tell me, hey, they did this in Sabotage or this sounds like Sabotage, and I'll be like, oh man, dude, I didn't hear that before. So yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about that. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. I'm Trevor Crash Knight. Stay out of that collateral damage. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.